What is going on YouTube? Today I want to talk to you about how to build a candy cane shaped stocking holder. My name's Andy, this is Cedar River Woodworking, and welcome to the shop. I live inside my... So here is that candy cane stocking holder that I was talking about. If you don't have a mantle where you can hang your stockings from, this is a great idea to put inside of your home. Now there's just one thing that I would like to get out of the way before we get over to this build. We do a lot of Christmas decorations just like this one and this one here on this channel. And we are trying to make a big push to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. So if you like these types of builds, or I have some shop improvement builds coming up here in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel. If it's not for you, that is perfectly okay too. So now that that's out of the way, let's head over to the saws and we can build this stocking holder. So here we are over at our miter saw. So this project is going to take one 4x4, which is actually 3.5 by 3.5. And I have an 8-foot long piece here. And I also have some 1/2-inch plywood that we're gonna use later on in this project. So what we're gonna do to start this off, you know me, I like to cut the end off this so that I know that it is a flush and true edge. Once we have that cut at the 90 degree here, I'm gonna go ahead and set my saw to 22.5 degrees. Now with the edge that is against the fence, I'm going to measure from the end and I'm gonna measure up 8 inches. Now that we have that piece, we are going to cut 3 more pieces, but those pieces are going to be 7 inches in length. And how we are going to cut these is we are going to make trapezoids. So that means that the ends are going to face in opposite directions. So how we're going to do that is we're just going to flip the board over so that the point of this is against the fence. Now, because we do want these to be the same dimensions, I'm going to set a stop block. Make sure that your blade stops completely before you lift that blade up so you don't get a kickback. So once we have our 3 7-inch trapezoids cut out here, we need to cut out our final piece. And how we're going to do that is we need to set our saw back to the 90 degree setting. Now let's head over to the bench and get this thing assembled. So here we are over at the bench where we have our 8-inch piece that has a flat end on it and 3 trapezoid shapes that are 7 inches long. And then we also have our long piece here. So how we're going to do this is we need to glue this together. I have seen this put together with screws before. If you want exposed screw heads, go ahead and do it that way. I'm going to go ahead and use some glue. If you have seen my shelf video that I recently did that was hexagons, I'm going to use the same process as I did for that, and that is this blue tape trick. So this blue tape trick, I am going to lay these all out end to end so that they're nice and tight with each other, and then run a piece of blue tape across them. I feel that YouTubers use blue tape a lot more than I've seen painters use tape. If you've noticed that too, let me know down in the comment section below. So once we have all of that blue tape on, we need to flip this over. One of the things that I found to make this easier is if I have pressure pulling outwards on both of the end boards, it will help me roll this a lot easier. Now just like that, we are going to put some glue inside of here and then roll this up into its candy cane shape. Now once I have this all rolled up, we need to hold it in place. So I just have a long piece of tape here that I'm going to apply pressure and then stick it to the long piece here. I can also run some tape around this piece here, and that will really hold this in place and make sure that it is stuck together completely. Now once we have this candy cane taped into place, we need to let this dry. So I'm gonna let it dry for a couple hours and we can start making the base for this thing. So off camera, I cut these 2 pieces of plywood. One is 24 by 24 and the other is 12 by 12. And I'm just going to go ahead and mark center line on each one of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to center the 12 by 12 inside of the 24 by 24. So you could measure 6 inches from one edge and 6 inches from the other edge, and that will make these line up. Also, if you measure that 6 inches by 6 inches and then you mark center line, that will also help do exactly what I'm trying to do here. So I mark out the center line, so that's 12 inches. And also 6 inches. And once I've done both of those, I can line up these 2 marks and it'll let me know that this is completely centered on the larger board here. I also have the cutoff piece. So this is what was left over out of that 4x4. And I'm going to do the same thing and I'm going to mark out where this piece goes. So once I have that box marked out of this 12 by 12 onto this 24 by 24 piece, I'm going to go ahead and put some glue down and I'm going to brad nail into it. I have some 5/8 inch brad nails inside of here. Also, if you have not seen my video where I featured this brad nailer, I would highly go check that out up here. I'm going to set this 12 by 12 piece in here and brad nail it into place. So the brad nails are not going to be the structural part of this piece. It's the glue that's going to hold these 2 boards together. The brad nails will just hold everything together until the glue cures. The reason why I marked out where the 4x4 is centered on here is I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes in this. These are going to be some pilot holes and they're going to come out the bottom so I know where to run screws up from the bottom later on. So now that we have these holes drilled, we need to let this glue completely cure. That's going to take an hour or 2 for this. So now is a great time to check out one of the other holiday videos that I have and complete another project while you wait for this to dry. So here we are back at the bench. You can see I did quite a bit while we were waiting for this thing to dry. I actually painted it, and in the background here, you might be able to see some Christmas trees that I made. Like I said, there's plenty of time to do other projects while this is drying. So off camera, I did paint this. I started off by doing a base white coat, and then I used some 4-inch wide painter's tape, and I used a speed square, and I just set it down and matched the 45-degree angle, and then ran the tape all the way around the candy cane here to give us our stripes. So now that we've painted everything and that's all dry, I need to put a base on this thing so it'll stand up completely. So with our base also painted, I made sure that there was a square inside of here that I did not paint. So that square that we drew around the 4x4, I did leave that unpainted so that we could put some glue inside of here so everything will stick together. I also left the bottom of the candy cane unpainted so that we could have glue stick there as well. I did want to go back over all of the measurements that we had. We have one 8-inch piece that has a flat end and a 22.5 degree angle. We have 3 trapezoids. That's going to be where the angles go the opposite direction. And those are 22.5 degrees and they are 7 inches long. And then this long piece has a flat end and one end at 22.5 degrees and it is 43 inches long. So what I'm going to do to attach this is I'm going to pre-drill and then I'm going to drive some screws into the bottom of it. I'm using 2.5-inch deck screws. I will have everything linked down in the video description that I use. Now I'm just going to run one screw in here so then I can use a speed square to square up the base to the candy cane here. So I'm going to use the edge of the inner square here to go ahead and square everything up. Once I have everything squared up, I'm going to go ahead and drill my other holes so that I have everything pre-drilled, and then I'm going to pull that one screw back out, add some glue, and then final assemble this thing. So this is what that candy cane is going to look like. All right, well, it's off camera there a little bit. this is what the candy cane in total is going to look like. I'm going to hang some stockings off of this, and it will be my stocking tree for this year. There is one more stand solution that I wanted to talk to you about, and that is going to use legs that are like this. I did cut a 45-degree miter on the end of this. I measured down 1.5 inches, and then I went ahead and cut that off. Now, what we're going to do on this one is on the end here, I'm going to take a combination square to make sure that this is all squared up to each other. And then I'm going to put it directly at the bottom of the other board. And then I'm going to put a couple screws in here. Now these boards that I cut here are 12 inches long. You can make them longer or shorter if you wanted to. 12 is probably the shortest that I would recommend though. I would say that 14 or 16 inches would probably be the best. Now I just have this foot stood vertically here, and I'm just going to go ahead and butt this other foot up against it and then put some more screws in there. And we're going to go ahead and put 4 of these feet on here like this, and it will stand up, and you'll have this pinwheel looking effect off of the bottom. So that is another stand option that you could have for this candy cane. So here we are, completely assembled and fully painted. This thing makes me look tiny when it's up here on my bench. This thing is about 49 inches tall, and it fits 4 of these stockings on here very nicely. If you did like this build, we have Christmas trees like this one that just dropped, or we have some older videos like these Christmas trees here. So if you're not currently subscribed, please consider subscribing. We are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. So if you have made it this far in the video, do you think that candy canes are white with red stripes, or are they red with white stripes? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know down there. And like always, I have everything that we use pinned in the description below as well. I like this build. It's going to go inside and is going to be my new stocking hanger. For now, my name is Andy. This has been Cedar River Woodworking, and we'll see you in the next video.